For everyone who probably doesn't know, AP exams, advanced placement exams, are rigorous coursework, and it gives students access not only to college admission, it actually gives them college credit. So imagine you're getting college credit in high school, that's going to save you and your family money down the line. Good scores show that our students are getting the teaching and the support that they need. Passing AP exams also expands people's opportunity for college credit in college, and also includes expanded opportunity for admission. The news tells employers that our schools are producing the best prepared students in the country, and that's really good news for everybody in Massachusetts, that our kids are graduating with the best preparation in the country. We've been really intentional about increasing these AP exam scores. We subsidize exam fees for low-income students, which is really important and allows more students the opportunity to take these exams. So far, we've helped 50,000 low-income students take nearly 91,000 exams. Now, this work that we've done in investing in AP also fits with our broader investment in education. It fits with our commitment to early college programs that allow high school students to take real, local college courses for credit. This year, we set a target of getting 100,000 students into early college, and that's a goal that I want to meet, and I want to meet it and exceed it really, really quickly. We also made an equally strong commitment to career pathways and apprenticeships. We're getting every student the opportunity to get the very best education possible, whether they're looking to go on to college or right on to a career. Now, there's a lot of work left to do. We're still recovering from the pandemic, as all states are, and we're working to close any learning gaps. But for me, the ultimate goal is not the #1 ranking, actually. It's knowing that we have the very best prepared students, in the country when they leave high school. We want students in high school set up for success, no matter what path they choose. And we want every parent in Massachusetts to know that when you send your child to a public high school in Massachusetts, they're going to get the very best education, the very best training possible. It sets them up for success, whether they go on to college, or the military, or a career. Our investments in early education are also worth noting. Over the last 3 years, we have added 22,000 child care seats, and we've grown universal pre-K in gateway cities. And by the end of this year, we will have universal pre-K in all of our gateway cities in Massachusetts. We also created Literacy Launch to get the best reading instruction in place around the state, and we established Massachusetts' first high-dose tutoring program to overcome learning loss and help close the learning gaps for some of our students, for students who've fallen behind. We also made an announcement a while back that we have put out a new standard for what a high school graduation diploma looks like, a new statewide graduation standard that will give our students the most rigorous and the most complete and useful public education in America. And our fiscal year 27 budget proposal continues record funding for our Massachusetts public schools. So every state right now, I know, cares about education and invests in its students, but Massachusetts continues to lead the way. And with that, I want to turn it over to our Commissioner of Education, Pedro Martinez, and thank you, Pedro, for your and your team's outstanding work.
Thank you, So again, everyone, I'm just honored to be here at this time in Massachusetts, in our Commonwealth, as a commissioner. I want to thank Governor and her administration because they have always fully supported our students. And what's exciting to me, again, as the Governor said, we are the #1 in the nation, the highest record ever for College Board in terms of students participating in taking and passing advanced placement courses and exams. It's an indication of the strength of our teachers. It's an indication of the strength of our students. Quiero que sepa nuestra comunidad que estamos hablando de ahora es que somos #1 en el país for our low-income students subsidies so that our children can afford a pass to actually take the AP exams and again cursos, no nomás en total, pero también para nuestros niños que son African American y nuestros niños latinos, más de 7 puntos de porcentaje. So again, I want to bring this back together with the Governor said. This ties everyone very nicely as we're looking at our new graduation standards, as the Governor's put a bold vision to expand early college, because what we're talking about is students not only graduating from Massachusetts high school to being prepared, but being being truly prepared for whatever they want to do beyond, to take advantage of our higher ed system, to be able to go into the trades and the wonderful industries that we have in our Commonwealth. So when you bring this together, when you have such a strong foundation in the talent we have with our students and teachers, it makes it that much feasible that we're going to be able to implement these higher graduation standards, and that we're going to meet, and I will say, Governor, we're going to exceed your time frame in getting our students exposed to more early college programs. And with that, I'll turn it back to the.
Yeah, thank you so much, Commissioner. It's,
I think, in the 2025 school year, white students, 82% of them received a 3 or higher, compared to 63% of Hispanic and Latino students, 57% of black students. How can you state as well?
Yeah, so I think everyone, so first of all, and I want to also make sure we continue to emphasize this, we're exposing our students to the rigor. And so that is the first step. And the fact that we have AP courses in 86% of our high schools, that we've seen such significant increases. By the way, with equity, because what tends to happen in many states is you will see huge achievement gaps, and they only grow white. They actually don't, because they become, they're gatekeepers to get into school. What we're doing in Massachusetts is all of our students are rising. Yes, there's some gaps there, but if we keep doing this and we keep going forward, and you combine this with early college courses, you now have this magic formula that I've seen in my career, where you have these students now being able to be successful in both. So I do believe there's a little bit of work to do, but because we are increasing participation so, and even at a faster rate, I have no doubt that we will continue to narrow that gap. And again, strengthen them, because we're going to also combine them with college with that.
yeah, and I think, this is also why it's so important that we made investments in childcare and early education, investments in literacy and high-dose tutoring, so that, from the start, all students, black, white, Latino, it doesn't matter, all students in Massachusetts have the tools, have the training, have the resources, from the start. And there are gaps. We're working every day to close those gaps, to close those racial disparities, and to give students the foundation that they need, especially when they graduate from high school. Because at that point, that's the end of the state's direct role in public education, except for higher ed and our public universities. But, what the work that happens, from 0 to 6 years old, and then, K through 12 education is something that we are investing in like no other state. And it's really important to me. I mean, we're the place that started education in this country. We're home to the first school in this country. And, we take that really, really seriously, including closing those racial gaps. But the trend, as you heard today from the commissioner, the trend is a positive one, and we know that we're just going to continue to lean into those investments. Also lean into diversity of teachers in the classroom, and support that diversity in the workplace, among other things. So, that's what we're going to do, and I know under Commissioner Martinez's leadership, we're going to get there.
Governor, the College Board said that part of these results released today, that the exams, 2025 exams which test were released, national figures show a 20% percentage point increase in the English test, for example. Massachusetts results show at least 10 tests with 10 percentage points higher than the previous year. Physics 1 had almost 25% improvement over last year. English language, almost 20%. Do you think the administration is overstating the results of this year's test? And why did the administration include this recalibration in the test results? The press release for this also indicated there was AI content that may be inaccurate. Why the administration published?
What administration are you talking about?
Your administration. And the press release also included mention of AI content being used that was inaccurate. Why was that content included?
Do you have any say about that?
No.
I don't understand why.
Yeah, no, but I will say this. First of all, any recalibration that happens with College Board, and I've been involved with College Board since I started my career in education for more than 20 years. First of all, they are very high rigorous model. And remember, the recalibrate is for everybody. So the fact that, we're still number 1 and the highest ever, but again, this is true for all states, right? So that's consistent. We feel pretty comfortable with the data that we shared today, again, because College Board took us through the statistics, and again, we just feel comfortable. So again, we'll look into anything that might be a discrepancy, and I apologize if there's any, but right now, we stand by these results.
And just to clarify, at the end of the application question is, why would there be a commission that's not equally guaranteed that?
You have to talk to our press secretary about that. I don't know what the reference is there. But what I do know is that, as you just heard, apples to apples, student to student across the country, Massachusetts students are at the top, as I want them to be, right? We want them at the top. And, you know, we got to #1 last year in the nation's report card across all categories. And today we're #1 again when it comes to advanced placement exams. And that's the important thing here, because, you know, I want our students to be the best prepared. And as you look across the country and high school graduates, I want Massachusetts graduates to be the very best prepared. And that's good for them, it's good for their families, it's also really good for our economy.
You mentioned there's still gaps since the pandemic. I'm curious where you're seeing some of the biggest gaps, especially when you consider some of the kids graduating high school or in high school right now weren't even in high school during the pandemic, and also what your administration is kind of doing to address that.
Yeah. So first of all, so I think, you know, when you look at our state, first I want to continue to recognize how strong our foundation is. College graduation rates are very high. We just saw, again, the stats we have for our advanced coursework. It's only going to get stronger. And really, you know, what the governor has said from the beginning is, we know our students don't start this school. So investing in the community programs, especially around high quality preschool and childcare programs, is a huge start. In addition to that, our early investments in early learning, starting with literacy, which again, the governor said that as well. And we're also implementing new graduation standards that are going to raise the bar for everyone. So I see nothing but opportunities building on this foundation as we increase participation rates in our students in advanced coursework. And then in my career, what I have seen is that when you complement advanced placement, you complement early college and career tech programs, you literally have a trifecta. Because I might be a student that I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do, but I'm passionate about maybe going into a certain field like healthcare. And to have the ability to take advanced placement classes, classes that give me a certification, as well as early college, that is just going to open my mind and it's going to drive me further. So that's really that's where the government really put us, and the lieutenant governor, and the investments are there. So again, we have work to do. We still have gaps that we had before the pandemic, but I actually see we have the tools today to be able to really narrow those gaps.
Last question.
Governor, the Herald just reported that the Biden administration has reached out to you to clean up the state's CTA SNAP program. And you know, there's in 2024 last available full year data, there was $364 million in payment errors. Can you explain those seemingly bad numbers?
Yeah, you know, the Biden administration sent notices out to states about what was happening with the DTA programs, and we received one. I know that during the COVID time, payment errors went up across the country, across all states when it came to this. We took immediate action, and that meant hiring more caseworkers, taking more steps to verify eligibility, and more emphasis and resources towards training and program integrity.
This year is after the state of emergency ended, though, FY24.
What's that?
The FY24 numbers of $364 million in payment errors, that was after the
Yeah, I think there's just some hangover from COVID, and that's why you continue to see payment error rates around the country. The important thing to me is that is going down in Massachusetts, and we're going to continue to do everything that we need to do. And you know, as somebody who prosecuted fraud and abuse as a career prior to this, we take very seriously, and I do, program integrity, and we want to make sure that we're getting the very best out of every single federal taxpayer dollar in this instance. So, you know, DTA has more resources, there have been changes there, and we're going to see payment rates go down, I think all across the country, because other states are doing this as well. Again, a lot of this had to do with COVID and, you know, getting through that time.
Governor, there's a big meeting tonight for the Select Board in Foxborough about that $7 million that's unaccounted for. Have you been working with those officials? What do you expect for tonight? What do you hope for tonight? And any update you can give us with the big games coming up in just a few months?
I know, it's exciting. World Cup is coming here, and we're going to continue to work with our local partners, with federal partners, and with private partners on this. So, you know, we hope that the meeting goes well tonight. I can tell you that one thing is very important. Department of Homeland Security is sitting on funding right now that is due to the states, that is due to Massachusetts. We need that funding. That is for public security, which is really what the issue is about right now in Foxborough. But we're gonna continue to work with everybody involved and support this effort, you know, and I'm sure that our games are gonna go off without a hitch, but it doesn't help that there has been federal funding held up right now.
Do you know how much is being held by DHS?
I think there's about 8.5 million maybe, do we know, total?
I can call.
Yeah, okay, well, yeah, we'll get you
I appreciate it.
for that, yeah.
Thank you.
But it's, you know, it's money that we need, you know, because we're doing the planning and people need to, local law enforcement needs to be able to operationalize stuff right now, so.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay.